the freaking tank engine. Guys, today is such a good day because, as we all know, the Tiger Moth project is finally out. And you may have seen the video of mine, probably not, on the announcement of this episode. And boy, I watched it just a couple minutes ago and wow, it was amazing. So I thought I would make a reaction video on it. Yeah, this episode was amazing. Like, I loved it. Like, I'm glad we got to experience Classic Thomas for the last time. And anyways, let's click on the video.
One morning, Toby the tram engine was feeling glum. The other engines were busier than ever, but poor Toby hadn't taken any passengers with Henrietta for weeks, only shunting freight cars in the yard. Just then, Gordon puffed in to take on water.
Oh,
hello, Gordon, said Toby sadly. Are you pulling the express today?
Who else but me?
But don't get me wrong.
You're lucky to always have passengers, remarked Toby. You know, Henrietta and I haven't gone this long without passengers since. Well, not since my old tramway closed down. Then Toby remembered. It was back in the good old days, chuckled Toby. We had our own line, hauled freight, and Henrietta was always bustling with passengers. They'd visit us on holidays and always remembered our names. But then they stopped coming back. My line was closed, and the good old days were over. It would be nice to have my own tramway again, sighed Toby, like having my own branch line.
Paw!
Snorted Gordon.
Branch lines are just useless extensions of the important main line.
Whoa,
That's all Sir Topham Hatt cares about.
Gordon.
And he puffed rudely away. Just then, Thomas puffed in with some freight.
Oh,
He saw Toby, looking dismayed.
whoa.
What's the matter? Asked Thomas.
Hey! Why are you pausing?
Oh, just miss being useful, replied Toby. If I could just have some work to do, he said sadly.
Well, maybe
Thomas
yeah.
smiled. Well, you can take that train of building supplies to Percy for me, said Thomas. They're needed up at the work site of the new main line extension. Then I'll be able to collect Sir Topham Hatt early, and you'll have some work to do. Toby was excited, though the extension was news to him. Come on, Toby, said his driver. We'll take Thomas's branch line to give you a nice long run. Toby was now beaming with joy. He reversed on to the train of supplies, then set off for the work site.
You can even hear.
But as he puffed down the line, he couldn't stop thinking about what Gordon had said. Sir Topham Hatt really does only care about the main line, he thought to himself.
No, he does not, Toby. Don't be so.
Meanwhile, Percy was fuming. Where's Thomas? I'm exhausted, he complained.
Percy!
He'll be here soon, soothed his driver. But we must remind him not to spoil the surprise. Percy was puzzled. What surprise? Before his driver could answer, Toby arrived.
I like how they.
Here are the building supplies, Percy, he panted.
So funny.
Toby, what are you doing here? He snapped. I'm sorry. Thomas said I could deliver these supplies for him.
Percy didn't
Is there anything
snap
else I can do to
him.
help? Percy eyed a long line of freight cars, full of scrap and tree branches.
Oh my
You can
God,
take
they
those
had
cars
to-
back to the yards
they
for
had
me,
to
he
focus
replied.
in and out.
The
That's
train
so
looked
cool.
quite heavy for Toby, but he agreed. He rolled onto the special junction called a
Nothing
Y
bad's
and changed
about to
directions.
happen here, guys.
He then buffered up to the heavy train and was on his way.
Oh God, you can hear the music.
Soon, Toby was pushing the heavy train of freight cars up a big hill. He made a tremendous effort, but just as he reached the top, the weight of the cars became too much for him.
Oh no!
His driver shut off steam and applied the brakes, but it was too late. There was worse to come. As Toby thundered toward the worksite, he saw Percy dead ahead on his track.
Oh
"Look out,
my
Percy!" cried Toby. Toby rocketed past Percy into some bushes near the worksite.
Whoa, that was cool.
Toby shut his eyes and braked with all his might. last came to a stop in front of an old station with an old shed. When Toby opened his eyes, he couldn't
Not gonna
believe where he
lie,
was.
That was such a cool...
Percy pulled up behind him. "Are you alright, Toby?" he gasped. Toby was bubbling with excitement. "Percy, this is my old tramway.
This is old
And look,
tramway.
there's my old shed. I never thought I'd see it again."
Oh, I
Just
like how
then,
they
Thomas
have
arrived
stuff
with a work crew
because
and
of
Sir
excitement.
Topham Hatt. He spoke sternly to Toby. "You should know your own strength by now, Toby."
That looks so good, that scene.
"I'm sorry, sir,
You
but I
did
only
not
wanted to
tell
help."
me that it's
I'm
something
aware
like
of that. I'm just glad to see you're safe. Though it's a shame you've spoiled your surprise.
Toby was confused. "My surprise, sir?" Sir
What?
Topham Hatt smiled.
Yes, Toby, our new extension is in fact a restoration. We are restoring and connecting your tramway with the main line
Oh my
and
God.
Thomas's branch
Look
line.
at those faces.
Toby grinned from buffer to buffer. He almost couldn't believe it. "Oh, sir! Thank you, sir!" he cheered happily.
Wow.
When the restoration was complete, Toby and Henrietta took a special charter of friends, old and new, down the line on an opening
This is
run.
so fun. I really like this.
For Toby,
That's such
it seemed the good old days were here to stay.
Well, guys, that was the episode. I really enjoyed this one. I love it. It's just so fun. Like, this is the first time in 15 years that gauge 1 models are being used. Like, I'm so grateful for Jacob for making this. Like, thank you so much. And subscribe.